Hello, dreamer. Close your eyes, but not just yet. First, let your breath settle, soft and slow, like snow on a still lake. Wherever you are tonight, whether curled beneath blankets or stretched out like a starfish, know this: you're not alone. There are dreamers like you listening across oceans, cities, and rooftops. Before we begin, leave a comment. Tell us where you're listening from. Let's build this circle of calm, one voice at a time. Tonight, we step into the library of melting hours, a vast library where books write themselves while readers sleep. When you're ready, let the weight of today dissolve into the hum of distant constellations. Luna approaches the library through fog that tastes of forgotten dreams. The massive doors shimmer before her, not quite solid, not quite memory. They're carved from wood that feels like warm silk against fingertips as she traces the intricate patterns. Spirals within spirals, each one telling a story she almost remembers. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony drifts from beyond the threshold, a gentle symphony that makes her heart slow to match its rhythm. She breathes deeply, and the air carries honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment, sweet and ancient like her grandmother's recipe books. "How strange," Luna whispers to the dissolving doors. "You're melting like morning mist, yet you feel more real than anything I've ever touched." The doors respond by becoming translucent, revealing glimpses of golden light within. Books float past the entrance like lazy fireflies, their pages glowing with fresh words that write themselves in flowing script. Luna watches, mesmerized, as one volume drifts close enough to touch. Its cover pulses gently beneath her palm, warm silk that seems to breathe. The soft scratching of invisible quills grows louder, more welcoming, as if the entire library is greeting her arrival. The scent of honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment grows stronger, wrapping around her like a beloved blanket. "I think," she says softly, "you've been waiting for me." The doors finish their transformation, becoming streams of pearl-colored light that part like curtains. Luna steps forward, crossing the threshold into a world where stories are born from sleeping minds and dreams flow like rivers of liquid starlight. Behind her, the last traces of the doors fade into memory, leaving only the promise of return. Ahead, the library stretches impossibly vast, its shelves climbing toward a ceiling lost in gentle darkness. The soft scratching of invisible quills, writing in harmony, calls her deeper into the maze of living books. Luna takes another breath, tasting honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment on her tongue, and begins her journey into the heart of stories themselves. The first shelf awaits, its books humming with anticipation, pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips, ready to share their secrets. Time stutters softly as she blinks, and suddenly the first book floats directly into her waiting hands. Luna steps inside and discovers books floating freely, their pages turning themselves in the amber light. The air shivers with possibility as volumes drift past her shoulders like gentle giants, each one pulsing with its own inner rhythm. She reaches toward the nearest book, a slim crimson volume that hovers at eye level. Its cover feels like warm silk against fingertips, the leather binding smooth and alive beneath her touch. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony fills the space around her, a gentle symphony that seems to emanate from every floating tome. "You're writing yourself?" Luna whispers, watching golden words appear across the open pages, like morning light spilling through honey. The text flows upward in delicate streams, defying gravity as it weaves new stories from the dreams of distant sleepers. The scent of honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment wraps around her like a familiar embrace, carrying whispers of forgotten bedtime stories and childhood wishes. Each breath draws her deeper into the library's gentle magic, where impossible things feel perfectly natural. A larger book drifts past, its pages unfurling like silk ribbons in a breeze that exists only here. Luna watches in wonder as the text rearranges itself, words dancing across the paper in languages she's never seen but somehow understands. The letters pulse with their own soft light, each one a tiny star born from someone's sleeping thoughts. "What dreams are you weaving tonight?" she asks the floating library, her voice barely a whisper in the vast amber-lit space. The books respond with a gentle humming, their pages rustling like leaves in an autumn wind. Time seems to slow as Luna moves deeper into the collection, drawn by the promise of stories that write themselves while the world sleeps. Above her, the ceiling disappears into starlit darkness, and she realizes this library exists in a space between spaces, where dreams and reality blur into something altogether more beautiful. The amber light grows warmer as she ventures toward the library's spiraling heart. Luna moves closer to the nearest shelf, her bare feet silent against floors that feel like warm silk against skin. A soft scratching of invisible quills, writing in harmony, fills the air around her. A gentle symphony that seems to pulse with her own heartbeat. She breathes deeply, taking in the honeyed ink, mingled with aged vanilla parchment, that makes the library feel like a place she's always known. Before her, a slender volume glows with inner light. Its cover shifts between deep midnight blue and soft silver, like water reflecting stars. As Luna watches, golden words begin to appear across its open pages, not printed, but flowing upward like liquid moonlight, defying gravity. "How extraordinary," she whispers, her voice barely disturbing the sacred quiet. The ink moves with purpose, each letter forming slowly, deliberately, as if the story itself is choosing exactly which words to birth. Luna extends her hand toward the page, and the moment her fingertips make contact with the surface, pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips, she gasps softly. Images flood her mind, a child's laughter echoing through summer rain, the taste of fresh strawberries, the feeling of being completely, perfectly safe. The book is collecting someone's joy, she realizes, gathering fragments of happiness to weave into dreams for those who need them most. The soft scratching of invisible quills, writing in harmony, grows slightly louder, as if her touch has awakened something deeper in the library's consciousness. Around her, other books begin to glow more brightly, their pages rustling with anticipation. Luna pulls her hand back gently, and the honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment seems to intensify, carrying now a hint of summer meadows and childhood wonder. The book continues its work, the golden words flowing upward in streams of light that dissolve into the air above, carrying their precious cargo of collected dreams towards sleeping souls somewhere in the world. She blinks slowly, marveling at the impossible beauty of it all, and for just a moment, time stutters softly around her, the flowing ink freezing midstream before resuming its gentle dance. Time stutters when she blinks, and the golden words begin to spiral. Luna approaches a slender volume that glows softly on a lower shelf, its binding humming with quiet anticipation. The book's cover feels like warm silk against her fingertips as she traces the golden letters that spell themselves across its surface. "Hello, little one," she whispers, her voice barely disturbing the air. "What dreams are you collecting tonight?" The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows gentler around this particular book, as if the other stories are giving it space to respond. Pages flutter without any breeze, releasing the scent of honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment. A smell that carries memories of childhood bedtime stories and grandmother's kitchen. The book's response comes not in words but in warmth. Its spine pulses gently like a sleeping heart, and Luna feels the rhythm sync with her own breathing. Golden text begins to appear across the open pages, flowing upward like liquid moonlight before settling into elegant script. She leans closer, reading fragments of dreams the book has gathered. A child's first sight of snow, the feeling of safety in a mother's arms, the peace of watching clouds drift across summer skies. Each memory feels like warm silk against her fingertips as she turns the pages. "You collect comfort," Luna realizes, her voice soft with wonder. "You gather all the moments when people felt truly safe." The book's glow intensifies slightly, as if pleased to be understood. Around them, the soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony creates a lullaby of creation, while the air grows thick with the scent of honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment. Luna closes the book gently, feeling its contentment radiate through her palms. She places it back on the shelf where it belongs, knowing it will continue its work through the night, collecting dreams of safety and peace. The library stretches endlessly before her, filled with countless other books, each with their own purpose, their own gentle magic. She moves deeper into the stacks drawn by Luna. Move deeper between the towering shelves, her bare feet finding purchase on floors that feel like warm silk against her skin. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows stronger here, a gentle symphony that seems to pulse with her own heartbeat. She pauses beside a cluster of volumes that glow with inner light, their leather bindings warm to the touch. As she reaches toward the nearest book, the air around her transforms. Honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment fills her lungs like a sweet, nostalgic embrace. "You smell like childhood bedtime stories," Luna whispers to the glowing tome. The book responds by opening itself, revealing pages that shimmer like moonlight on water. Words appear across the parchment in flowing script, each letter forming slowly as if painted by an invisible brush. The scent grows stronger, more complex. Beneath the honey and vanilla, she detects notes of lavender from her grandmother's garden, the crisp smell of autumn leaves, and something indefinable that reminds her of safety and wonder combined. Luna traces her finger along a line of fresh text, and the words seem to warm under her touch, the page surface feeling like warm silk against her fingertips. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony creates a lullaby around her, each pen stroke adding another layer to the library's living symphony. The honeyed ink, mingled with aged vanilla parchment, carries memories she thought she'd forgotten. Summer afternoons spent reading in tall grass, the weight of heavy books in her lap, the satisfaction of turning to a story's final page. A gentle breeze that shouldn't exist in this enclosed space lifts the hair from her shoulders, carrying with it new fragrances from deeper in the library. Luna closes her eyes and breathes deeply, letting the scents guide her forward. When she opens her eyes, time stutters for just a moment. The floating books pause mid-flight, the writing quills hover suspended, and even the golden light seems to flicker. Then everything resumes its dreamy pace, and Luna continues her journey deeper into the maze of stories, following the sweet trail of honeyed ink and vanilla that promises even greater wonders ahead. The scent grows stronger as she walks, leading her toward shelves that curve impossibly upward into starlit darkness. Luna extends her hand toward a slender volume glowing softly on the nearest shelf. The moment her fingertips make contact, she gasps. Pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips spread beneath her touch, radiating gentle heat, as if the stories themselves pulse with quiet life. Around her, the soft scratching of invisible quills, writing in harmony, creates a lullaby of creation. Thousands of stories being born simultaneously in whispered ink. The sound reminds her of rain on summer leaves, or perhaps wind moving through tall grass in a field she once knew. The air carries that distinctive scent, honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment, growing stronger as more books sense her presence. It's the smell of grandmother's recipe box, mixed with library corners where sunlight pools on winter afternoons. "You're so warm," Luna murmurs to the book, watching as golden words appear across its cover like slow lightning. The letters seem to breathe, expanding and contracting with each of her heartbeats. She traces one word with her finger, dreams. It glows brighter at her touch. The book's spine hums beneath her palm, a vibration so gentle it might be imagination. But when she lifts her hand, the humming stops, and when she returns it, the melody resumes, a conversation in frequencies too low for ordinary hearing. Other volumes begin to lean toward her, their covers catching the amber light that seems to emanate from nowhere and everywhere at once. Pages flutter without wind, revealing glimpses of stories still being written. A child's first snow, a lover's whispered promise, the last light of evening on water. Luna opens the book carefully. The pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips part like curtains, revealing text that flows upward instead of sitting still. Words lift from the parchment like golden butterflies, hovering for a moment before settling back into new arrangements. Time stutters when she blinks, and suddenly the butterfly words have written themselves into different patterns entirely. Luna moves deeper between the towering shelves, her fingertips trailing along book spines that feel like warm silk against fingertips. Each volume pulses gently beneath her touch, as if the stories within have their own heartbeats. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony creates a lullaby that seems to emanate from the very walls themselves. "How curious," Luna whispers, pausing before a section where books glow brighter than the rest. The air here carries the scent of honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment, so rich and comforting it makes her think of childhood bedtime stories read by candlelight. She watches as a slender blue volume opens itself, revealing pages that shimmer like water in moonlight. Words appear across the parchment, not in any earthly language, but somehow Luna understands their meaning perfectly. The book is writing about a child who cannot sleep 3 cities away, and the gentle dream it's crafting for her. "You know exactly what she needs, don't you?" Luna asks softly. The book's pages flutter in response, and she realizes something wonderful and strange. These books don't simply collect dreams. They understand the hearts of dreamers before the dreamers understand themselves. Another volume, bound in deep emerald leather, writes a story about healing for someone who has forgotten how to rest. The pages feel like warm silk against fingertips as Luna touches them, and the book hums with quiet satisfaction at its work. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows more complex, layering melodies within melodies Luna breathes deeply, letting the scent of honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment fill her lungs completely. Time stutters when she blinks, watching the books arrange themselves into perfect harmony with the sleeping world beyond. Each story knows precisely where it belongs, which dreamer needs its particular magic. Luna smiles, understanding at last her role in this miraculous place. She doesn't simply tend the books, she helps them find their way to hearts that need exactly what they offer. The golden light grows warmer as she ventures deeper, drawn toward the library's mysterious heart, where greater wonders await. Luna pauses in the amber-lit corridor, enchanted by the sound that fills every corner of the vast library. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony. It's like listening to a gentle rainstorm made of whispered secrets, each stroke adding another word to the endless collection of dreams being born. She reaches toward a floating manuscript, pages warm silk against her fingertips as they flutter without any earthly breeze. The parchment glows faintly, and she can feel the stories pulsing beneath the surface, like tiny heartbeats waiting to be discovered. "Such beautiful music you make," Luna whispers to the unseen writers. The air around her carries the rich scent of honeyed ink, mingled with aged vanilla parchment, sweet and comforting, like her grandmother's writing desk, where love letters once waited to be sealed. Above her head, a leather-bound journal drifts past, its cover opening to reveal pages that write themselves in flowing script. The words appear in golden ink that seems to breathe, each letter forming with deliberate care. Luna watches, mesmerized, as a story about a child's first snow day unfolds across the cream-colored paper. The scratching grows softer now, more rhythmic, like thousands of peaceful sighs translated into sound. Luna feels her eyelids growing heavy as she listens to this symphony of creation. Each quill stroke seems to pull her deeper into the library's dreamy embrace. She blinks slowly, savoring the moment, and time stutters gently around her, just for an instant, like a record skipping on the most beautiful note. When her eyes open again, the floating books seem closer, more welcoming, their pages rustling with anticipation. The honeyed scent grows stronger, wrapping around her like a warm shawl knitted from memories of cozy afternoons spent reading by candlelight. Luna takes another step forward, her bare feet silent against floors that feel like worn velvet beneath her steps. A small poetry book hovers near her shoulder, its binding humming a wordless lullaby. She extends her hand, and the book settles into her palm like a contented cat, its cover warm silk against her fingertips. The soft scratching of invisible quills continues its gentle song, calling her deeper into the library's heart. "Lead me to your secrets," she whispers, and the book's pages flutter with excitement, ready to guide her toward the spiraling shelves where dreams take on their most wondrous forms. The air shimmers with possibility as Luna follows the melody of creation toward mysteries that await in the library's spiraling heart. Luna moves deeper into the library's heart, where gravity seems to forget its purpose. Above her head, larger volumes drift like gentle clouds, their covers catching the amber light that pools between the endless shelves. A massive atlas floats past her shoulder, its pages turning themselves with the soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony. She reaches up to touch the corner of a drifting cookbook, and the leather binding feels like warm silk against fingertips, smooth and alive with stories still being born. The book responds to her touch by opening slightly, releasing recipes written in languages made of starlight and memory. The honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment grows stronger here, as if the floating books carry concentrated dreams within their pages. "You're collecting the night feasts, aren't you?" Luna whispers to the cookbook, and it hums in response, a sound like contentment made audible. The pages flutter without wind, showing glimpses of tables set for one, where lonely dreamers find comfort in imagined meals shared with loved ones long gone. A poetry collection drifts by, trailing verses that unspools like silk ribbons through the air. Luna catches a fragment of verse that dissolves between her fingers, tasting of lavender and forgotten lullabies. The words reshape themselves as they fall, becoming butterflies made of punctuation marks that settle on nearby shelves. The floating books create their own gentle current in the library's atmosphere. Luna feels herself becoming lighter as she walks among them, her feet barely touching the floor that feels like warm silk against fingertips. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows more complex here, layering melodies like a symphony of creation. Time stutters softly when Luna blinks, and for a moment, the floating books pause mid-air like suspended thoughts. In that stillness, she hears her own heartbeat echo through the vast space, keeping time with the library's eternal rhythm. The honeyed ink, mingled with aged vanilla parchment, swirls around her as the books resume their graceful dance, carrying dreams toward those who need them most, in distant bedrooms across sleeping worlds. Luna follows their gentle current deeper into the library, where the shelves begin to curve and spiral toward. Beyond the floating volumes, corridors of impossible geometry beckon Luna forward. Shelves spiral upward like DNA helixes made of mahogany and starlight, their surfaces smooth as pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips. Each book she passes hums with potential, adding to the soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony that fills every corner of this sacred space. "Where do you lead?" Luna whispers to the winding path ahead. Her voice carries the scent of honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment, as if her words themselves are being written into existence. The library responds with a gentle thrum that vibrates through the floorboards beneath her bare feet. Ahead, a peculiar sight unfolds. Books arranged in perfect spirals, their spines glowing like captured moonbeams. Some hover at eye level, others drift near the vaulted ceiling that seems to breathe with cosmic rhythms. Luna reaches toward a particularly luminous volume, and it opens itself, revealing pages that shimmer between languages she's never seen, yet somehow understands. The text flows like liquid mercury, forming words that speak of distant dreamers, a child afraid of thunderstorms, an elderly woman missing her garden, a traveler longing for home. Each story pulses with its own heartbeat, warm and alive beneath her touch. You're all connected, Luna realizes, watching golden threads of light weave between the books. Every dream, every sleeper, every wish for peace, the library seems to nod around her, its wooden bones creaking approval. Time stutters when she blinks, and suddenly the threads multiply, creating a web of stories that stretches infinitely upward into shadow. Luna follows their luminous path, knowing that somewhere in this maze of dreams and words, the heart of all stories waits to be discovered. The golden threads grow brighter, pulling her toward the library's mysterious center. Impossible architecture unfolds before Luna as the library's shelves begin their otherworldly ascent, curving and spiraling upward into darkness that sparkles with distant starlight. The wooden surfaces feel like warm silk against fingertips as she steadies herself, marveling at how the bookcases defy every law of physics she once knew. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows more complex here, layering into a gentle symphony that seems to emanate from the very walls themselves. Each scratching sound carries its own rhythm, its own story being born in real time, creating a lullaby of creation that makes her eyelids feel pleasantly heavy. Honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment drifts through the air like a comforting embrace, growing richer and more complex as she climbs higher into the library's heart. The scent carries memories of childhood bedtime stories and grandmother's kitchen, warm and safe and infinitely welcoming. "How do you hold yourself together?" Luna whispers to the shelves, running her palm along a banister that pulses gently like a sleeping heartbeat. The wood responds with a low, contented hum that vibrates through her bones. Books float freely in the open spaces between the spiraling levels, their pages turning themselves in slow, hypnotic circles. Some drift close enough for her to touch, their covers feeling like warm silk against fingertips, each one radiating a different temperature based on the dreams they're collecting. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony intensifies as she discovers entire sections dedicated to specific types of dreams, adventure tales written in silver ink, love stories that glow with rose-colored light, and peaceful narratives that shimmer like moonlight on water. Time stutters when she blinks, and for a moment, Luna sees the library as it truly is. Infinite, timeless, a living organism that breathes stories instead of air. The honeyed ink, mingled with aged vanilla parchment, swirls around her like visible music, and she knows she's approaching something extraordinary. Higher she climbs, following the impossible geometry that somehow feels perfectly natural now, each step bringing her closer to the library's deepest secrets. The shelves seem to whisper encouragement as she passes, their surfaces feeling like warm silk against fingertips whenever she needs to steady herself. Above her, the darkness sparkles with what might be stars, or perhaps the dreams of children sleeping peacefully in beds scattered across the world, and Luna realizes she's climbing towards something that will change everything. The library's heart calls to her now, its pull growing stronger with each impossible step. She takes up the spiraling shelves that seem to stretch toward. Beyond the spiraling shelves, Luna discovers a hidden alcove where specialized books hover in perfect formation. These aren't ordinary volumes. They're dream collectors, each one dedicated to gathering specific emotions from sleeping minds across the world. A crimson leather tome pulses gently, its cover warm like sun-baked stone. Pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips flutter open, revealing golden script that writes itself in real time. "You collect joy, don't you?" Luna whispers, watching as bright yellow ink flows upward like liquid sunshine. The soft scratching of invisible quills, writing in harmony, fills the alcove as dozens of dream collectors work simultaneously. Each book hums with its own unique frequency. The crimson one vibrates with laughter, while a deep blue volume nearby resonates with peaceful contentment. Honeyed ink, mingled with aged vanilla parchment, creates an intoxicating perfume that makes Luna's eyelids grow heavy. She moves between the floating books, each one responding to her presence with gentle warmth. A silver-bound collector devoted to childhood memories opens its pages, showing her fragments of summer afternoons and birthday wishes. "Such beautiful work you do," she murmurs, touching the spine of a lavender book that gathers healing dreams for the broken-hearted. The leather feels like warm silk against fingertips, and she can sense the countless souls who will receive comfort tonight. The dream collectors begin to glow brighter as midnight deepens. Their pages turn faster now, drinking in waves of emotion from dreamers everywhere. Luna watches in wonder as streams of light, silver for peace, gold for hope, rose for love, flow between the books like gentle rivers. Time stutters when she blinks, and for just a moment, Luna sees herself reflected in every page, her own dreams becoming part of the eternal collection. As the books settle into their rhythm, honey ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment grows even sweeter, promising deeper mysteries ahead, where the scent of jasmine tea and vanilla paper grows stronger. Crystalline whispers drift from an ancient volume that pulses with amber light on the seventh shelf. Luna approaches slowly, her bare feet silent against floors that feel like warm silk against fingertips. The book's cover shimmers with constellations that rearrange themselves as she draws near. "You hold someone's childhood summer, don't you?" she asks, her voice barely a breath in the sacred silence. The tome responds by opening itself, revealing pages that aren't paper but captured sunlight, golden and translucent. Words flow across the luminous surface like honey poured into crystal. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony intensifies around this special book, as if other volumes recognize its importance. Luna kneels before it, watching memories unfold. A child's laughter echoing through wheat fields, the taste of strawberries picked warm from the vine, the feeling of grass between small toes on endless summer afternoons. Her fingertips hover just above the glowing pages, feeling the heat of preserved joy radiating upward. The book's binding breathes slowly, rhythmically, like a sleeping cat in a patch of sunlight. Each exhale releases the honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment, but here it carries an extra note, the green sweetness of fresh-cut grass and distant barbecue smoke. "Such beautiful memories you keep safe," Luna whispers, and the golden tome flutters its pages in response, sharing a fragment of its treasure. She sees a grandmother's weathered hands braiding a child's hair, feels the texture of a favorite blanket worn soft by countless nights, hears the distant sound of a screen door closing on a perfect evening. The memory taste dissolves on her tongue, like cotton candy, sweet and impossibly light. Around her, other books lean closer, drawn by the warmth of such pure happiness. Time stutters gently when Luna blinks, and for a moment she exists in that eternal summer too. Then the golden tome closes softly, its gift complete, and begins to float toward the circulation desk where books share floating images and half-remembered lullabies that taste of lavender and forgotten songs. Above Luna's head, a leather-bound journal opens itself with deliberate care. Its pages feel like warm silk against fingertips as they flutter without any earthly breeze. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony creates a gentle rhythm that seems to match her heartbeat. Words begin to lift from the open pages, not as text, but as living memories. A child's laughter crystallizes in the air, golden and bell-like. Summer afternoons unfold like watercolor paintings, complete with the scent of cut grass and ice cream trucks playing distant melodies. What beautiful fragments you've collected, Luna whispers, reaching toward a shimmering image of a grandmother's kitchen. Her fingers pass through it, but she can feel the warmth of fresh-baked cookies, the comfort of flour-dusted aprons. The honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment grows stronger here, where dreams take their most precious forms. Another book releases the memory of a first kiss, tender and nervous, tasting of summer rain and possibility. Luna smiles as the sensation dissolves into starlight around her shoulders. A music box melody begins to play from nowhere and everywhere at once. The tune carries fragments of lullabies half remembered from childhood. Notes that seem to wrap around her like a gentle embrace. Pages continue turning themselves, each one releasing another piece of someone's treasured dream. She watches as a paper airplane made of moonbeams glides past, carrying within its folds the echo of a father's bedtime story. The sound mingles with the eternal scratching of quills, creating a symphony of remembered love. A particularly ancient tome opens to reveal not words, but the feeling of being safely tucked into bed on a stormy night. Lightning flickers harmlessly across its pages, and thunder rumbles like a contented cat's purr. Luna blinks slowly, savoring the moment. Time stutters when she blinks, and suddenly the floating memories begin to swirl together like autumn leaves caught in a gentle wind. They spiral upward toward the library's impossible ceiling, seeking the dreamers who need them most tonight. "Find your way home," she whispers to the departing dreams. The scent of jasmine tea begins to drift stronger from the library's heart, calling her forward. Around Luna, reality shifts like water disturbed by a falling petal. The massive dictionary she'd been admiring freezes mid-turn, its watercolor pages suspended in amber light. Time stutters when she blinks. Everything becomes liquid crystal. The floating books hang motionless as dewdrops, their pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips now perfectly still. Even the soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony pauses, leaving only the whisper of her own breath. The honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment grows thicker, more dreamlike in the suspended moment. "How curious," Luna murmurs, her voice the only movement in this frozen symphony. She watches a single word, serenity, hover between two pages, like a golden butterfly caught in glass. The letter S curves with impossible grace, its edges fractaling into tiny spirals that taste of childhood lullabies. She reaches toward the suspended word, and her fingertip meets resistance, like touching the surface of a warm pond. Ripples of time spread outward from her touch, releasing the scent of forgotten summers, and her grandmother's lavender sachets tucked between story pages. The library begins to breathe again. Books resume their gentle, floating dance, pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips, once more turning with whispered secrets. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony returns, layering melodies of 1,000 dreams being born. Honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment flows upward, like liquid starlight, carrying stories to their destined dreamers. Luna smiles as normalcy returns, understanding that even time itself bends around the library's magic. She continues deeper into the spiraling shelves, where the books grow more restless and alive, their stories calling to distant sleepers who need exactly these dreams tonight. Within the library's spiraling heart, a colossal dictionary floats past Luna's shoulder, its ancient binding crackling with starlight. This isn't an ordinary book. It's a living archive where definitions dissolve into watercolor visions. Pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips unfurl without sound, revealing not words but painted dreams. Azure seas ripple across one page, while silver forests grow on another, their branches reaching beyond the paper's edge. Luna watches cities made of crystallized music shimmer into existence, their towers humming with melodies only the sleeping can hear. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows louder here, as if the dictionary conducts this symphony of creation. Each stroke adds color to the floating visions, sunset oranges bleeding into midnight purples, pearl whites fracturing into rainbow fragments that taste of childhood wonder. "What beautiful impossibilities you contain," Luna whispers, reaching toward a page where golden butterflies take flight, their wings leaving trails of honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment. The scent wraps around her like a gentle embrace, carrying memories of grandmother's recipe books and handwritten letters from distant friends. The dictionary responds by opening wider, revealing scenes that shift and breathe with dream logic. A lighthouse made of crystallized laughter stands on shores of powdered moonlight. Gardens bloom in reverse time, their flowers becoming seeds, then wishes, then forgotten hopes floating on invisible currents. Luna traces the air above these visions, feeling their warmth rise like summer rain. The pages pulse beneath her touch, alive with the dreams of countless sleeping souls. Each definition becomes a doorway to worlds that exist only between heartbeats, in the space where waking thought surrenders to night's gentle madness. Time stutters as she blinks, watching new dreams unfold across the dictionary's endless pages, preparing to drift toward those who need them most tonight. Understanding blooms within Luna, like dawn breaking over forgotten mountains. She stands among the dream collectors, watching as stories flow between the floating volumes with liquid grace. Pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips flutter in patterns that speak of destiny. "So this is why I'm here," she whispers, her voice barely disturbing the soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony. The sound weaves through towering shelves like whispered secrets shared between old friends. A book bound in midnight blue drifts toward her, its cover shimmering with constellations that pulse in rhythm with sleeping hearts across the world. When Luna extends her hand, the volume settles into her palm with surprising weight, not heavy, but significant, like holding someone's most treasured memory. The honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment grows stronger here, carrying undertones of dreams yet to be born. She breathes deeply, tasting possibility on her tongue. "You show me which dreams belong to which dreamers," Luna says to the floating collection. Around her, books respond by opening their pages, revealing glimpses of faces she's never seen but somehow recognizes. A child afraid of thunder, an elderly man missing his late wife, a woman searching for courage to change her life. Each story pulses with its own gentle light, seeking its destined recipient. Luna realizes she is the bridge between dream and dreamer, the gentle guide who ensures no soul sleeps without the exact comfort it needs. The midnight blue book grows warm against her palms, its pages rustling with anticipation. She opens it carefully, watching as golden threads of light begin to unspool from its binding, reaching toward distant windows where troubled sleepers toss and turn. "Find your way to her," Luna murmurs to the escaping dreamlight. "Remind her that morning always comes after the longest nights." Time stutters gently when she blinks, and for a moment Luna sees herself as the books see her, a luminous figure threading dreams through the darkness like a seamstress of sleep, her hands weaving comfort into the fabric of night itself. The blue book closes with satisfaction, its mission complete, and floats back to join its companions among the shelves. Luna moves deeper into the library's heart, where the vanilla scent grows sweeter and, beneath her wandering touch, countless book spines create a symphony of textures, pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips, some smooth as river stones, others ridged like tree bark that holds centuries of whispered secrets. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows richer here, layering melodies as Luna moves through this tactile wonderland. "Each of you feels so different," she murmurs, trailing her hand along a shelf where leather bindings shift from buttery smooth to delicately embossed. A volume bound in what feels like crushed velvet purrs under her palm, its contents devoted to lullabies sung in forgotten languages. Honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment fills her lungs as she pauses beside a collection of dream journals. These books feel different, their covers textured like fine sand, warm from absorbing countless midnight thoughts. When Luna presses her palm flat against one spine, it pulses gently, synchronized with some distant dreamer's heartbeat. Higher up, floating volumes drift past with covers that feel like moth wings, impossibly delicate yet strong enough to hold lifetimes of stories. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony creates gentle percussion as Luna reaches toward a book whose binding feels like smooth sea glass. Time stutters when she blinks, mesmerized by the endless variety of texture surrounding her. Each book offers its own invitation: rough hemp covers holding adventure tales, smooth bamboo bindings protecting ancient wisdom, metallic surfaces that hum with future dreams yet to be written. The scent of honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment grows stronger as Luna realizes something profound. Every texture tells its own story, and her fingertips are learning to read in ways her eyes never could. Pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips guide her deeper, toward where all textures and all dreams converge in harmony. Books purr and hum as Luna tends to them, their surfaces warming under her gentle attention. Volumes purr and hum as Luna tends to them, showing their contentment and trust through gentle vibrations that ripple across their covers. A leather-bound atlas stretches beneath her palm, its surface feeling like warm silk against fingertips, as continents shift and reshape themselves into dreamscapes she's never seen. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows more melodic here, as if the books recognize her care and respond with gratitude. "You remember being loved, don't you?" Luna whispers to a small poetry collection that glows amber in the starlight. Its pages flutter without wind, releasing honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment, a scent that carries the weight of countless bedtime stories. The poetry book opens itself, revealing verses that write themselves in flowing script. Words about moonbeams and lullabies appear in real time, each letter forming with deliberate tenderness. Luna traces a finger along a particularly beautiful line, and the book's binding warms under her touch. Around her, other volumes begin responding to her presence. A cookbook hums contentedly as recipes for dream soufflés and memory tarts appear on its pages. An encyclopedia of forgotten languages purrs like a satisfied cat, its definitions dissolving and reforming in scripts that look like musical notation. "Such beautiful conversations you have with the sleeping world," Luna murmurs, her voice barely above a breath. The books seem to lean toward her words, their spines glowing brighter with each gentle syllable. A children's storybook drifts closer, its cover illustration moving like a living painting. Paper animals bound across meadows that smell of summer grass and childhood wonder, while the soft scratching of invisible quills writes their adventures in real time. Time stutters when Luna blinks, watching a butterfly emerge from one page and dissolve into golden light. The moment hangs suspended, filled with the rustle of turning pages and the whispered promises of sweet dreams yet to be delivered. Her fingers trail across another spine, feeling pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips, and she smiles at how the books trust her completely. The jasmine tea and vanilla paper grow stronger, pulling her deeper into jasmine tea and vanilla paper grow stronger as Luna moves deeper into the library's spiraling center. Each step forward feels like walking through liquid starlight, her bare feet finding purchase on floors that pulse with the rhythm of sleeping hearts across the world. The soft scratching of invisible quills, writing in harmony, grows more complex here, layering melodies that seem to predict the dreams of children not yet born. Luna pauses beside a towering shelf where ancient volumes lean against each other like old friends sharing secrets. "You've been waiting for me," she whispers to a leather-bound chronicle whose pages flutter without wind. The book's spine feels warm silk against fingertips, radiating stories that taste of summer rain and forgotten birthday wishes. Above her, the ceiling dissolves into an aurora of floating text, words written in languages that exist only during the deepest sleep. They drift downward like luminous snow, each letter carrying the honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment that makes her think of her grandmother's attic study. A massive dictionary passes overhead, its pages fractaling open to reveal not definitions, but living memories. A child's first steps, a lover's whispered promise, the sound of laughter echoing through empty hallways. Luna reaches toward one particularly bright page, and the memory dissolves into golden dust between her fingers. Time stutters when she blinks. The sensation of moving through honey-thick air becomes more pronounced as she approaches what can only be the library's beating heart. Here, the books don't simply write themselves. They sing to each other in voices like wind chimes made of crystallized moonlight. Luna touches the wall, feeling ancient wood grain beneath her palm, each line telling stories of trees that grew in forests where fairy tales were born. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony crescendos around her, building towards something magnificent just ahead. The scent of jasmine tea and vanilla paper intensifies, promising revelations that wait in the dreaming desk she can almost see glowing in the distance, where all stories converge in gentle, endless. The dreaming desk sits surrounded by floating books that pulse like gentle hearts. At the library's heart sits a desk carved from crystallized moonbeams where every story that has ever been dreamed converges in gentle, flowing harmony. Luna approaches slowly, her bare feet silent against floors that feel like warm silk against fingertips, each step releasing tiny sparkles of stardust into the amber air. The desk itself seems alive, breathing with the rhythm of countless sleeping minds across the world. Its surface ripples like liquid starlight, and upon it rest 3 enormous books, their covers shifting between deep midnight blue and silver. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows louder here, a symphony of creation that makes Luna's heart flutter with anticipation. She circles the desk, watching words appear and disappear across its luminous surface like shooting stars. Each letter carries the weight of someone's deepest dreams, their hopes crystallizing into stories that will comfort other souls. The air grows thick with the scent of honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment, so rich and sweet it makes her dizzy with wonder. "Such beautiful work you do," Luna whispers to the desk, her voice barely audible above the gentle scratching. "Every night weaving dreams into stories, stories into comfort." The desk responds by glowing brighter, its surface now showing glimpses of the dreams it's collecting. A child's first snow day, an elderly woman's wedding dance, a young man's courage before a difficult conversation. Each image dissolves into golden ink that flows across the desk like honey, warm and alive. Luna reaches toward the nearest book, its spine pulsing with gentle light. The moment her fingers touch its cover, warm silk against fingertips, time stutters slightly, like a heartbeat skipping. She blinks, and for an instant, she sees herself as the desk sees her, a guardian of dreams, a bridge between sleeping minds and the stories that will heal them. The soft scratching of invisible quills, writing in harmony, seems to welcome her, and she knows she's found her place in this impossible library where books write themselves and dreams become real. The chair behind the desk beckons, promising comfort beyond imagining. Suspended above the dreaming desk floats a chair woven from crystallized moonbeams and exhaled sighs. Luna approaches slowly, her bare feet finding purchase on steps that materialize from compressed starlight. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows more intimate here, as if each pen knows her personally. She extends her hand toward the chair's armrest. The surface feels like warm silk against fingertips, but deeper, as though the very concept of comfort has been given form. Honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment drifts stronger now, carrying undertones of chamomile and forgotten bedtime stories. "You've been waiting for me," Luna whispers to the chair, and it responds by glowing with gentle amber light. The seat cushion ripples like liquid mercury, then solidifies into perfect softness as she lowers herself down. The moment she settles, the chair begins to rock, not with mechanical motion, but with the rhythm of deep breathing, of waves against distant shores, of a mother's heartbeat heard from within. Around her, books float closer, their pages feeling like warm silk against fingertips as they brush past her shoulders in greeting. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony shifts into something more orchestral now, as if her presence has given the library permission to compose its grandest symphony. Stories flow faster, words cascading like silver waterfalls that taste of moonlight and promise. Luna closes her eyes and feels herself becoming part of the chair's eternal rocking, part of the library's breathing rhythm. Honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment surrounds her like an embrace, and she knows that from this seat she can guide every dream to its intended sleeper. Time stutters when she blinks, and suddenly the chair rocks forward into tomorrow's first light. Her thoughts begin to shimmer and flow like liquid starlight, spilling from her mind into the waiting pages around her. The books sense her arrival at the dreaming desk and respond with gentle anticipation, their covers opening like flowers greeting dawn. Luna watches, mesmerized, as her own memories transform into golden ink that pools between the lines of unwritten stories. A childhood lullaby becomes a river of amber light, flowing across parchment that feels like warm silk against fingertips. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows more intense, as if the entire library has awakened to welcome her contribution. "I understand now," she whispers, her voice barely audible above the symphony of creation. "We're all part of the same endless story." The honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment grows richer, more complex, as her essence blends with the library's ancient magic. Her thoughts no longer feel separate from the books. They're becoming part of the great tapestry of dreams that flows through sleeping minds across the world. A leather-bound journal drifts closer, its pages blank and eager. Luna extends her hand, and silver words begin to appear wherever her fingers hover, writing themselves in a language that exists only in the space between waking and sleeping. The book purrs with contentment, its spine warming under her touch. Around her, other volumes begin to glow more brightly, as if her presence has awakened something deep within their bindings. Stories that were half-formed now complete themselves, finding their perfect endings in the gentle rhythm of her breathing. Time stutters softly as she blinks, and in that moment of suspended reality, Luna feels herself dissolving into pure story. No longer just the librarian, but part of the library's eternal heartbeat. The completed dreams begin to gather themselves, preparing to journey toward those who need them most, carrying with them a piece of Luna's peaceful surrender to the endless cycle of stories being born. Dreams spiral outward like golden ribbons, each one seeking its destined sleeper across the world. Luna watches from the dreaming desk as completed stories lift themselves from their pages, transforming into wisps of light that taste of fulfilled wishes. "You know exactly where to go, don't you?" she whispers to a particularly radiant dream that hovers near her shoulder. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony creates a lullaby around her words, each stroke weaving peace into the night air. A story about childhood summers dissolves into warm amber light, carrying the honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment sent toward a restless dreamer in a distant city. Another tale of gentle rain on garden leaves unfurls its silver wings, ready to soothe someone's worried mind. The books around Luna pulse with contentment, their covers warm as silk against fingertips when she brushes them in farewell. Each volume has given birth to exactly the dream needed, somewhere in the sleeping world. "Safe travels, little lights," Luna murmurs as dozens of luminous stories float upwards through the library's impossible ceiling. They move like slow-motion fireflies, each carrying its precious cargo of peace, wonder, or healing memory. The dreaming desk beneath her palms feels like warm silk against fingertips, responding to her touch with gentle vibrations that match her heartbeat. Around her, the remaining books settle deeper into their shelves, their work nearly complete for this night cycle. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows quieter now, like distant rain fading into morning mist. Only the most essential stories remain unfinished, those meant for the deepest sleepers who won't wake until true dawn. Luna breathes in the honeyed ink, mingled with aged vanilla parchment, letting the familiar scent anchor her to this moment of transition. Soon, very soon, her own work here will be done. Time stutters when she blinks, watching the last dreams find their way to waiting hearts. The library holds its breath as night begins its gentle surrender to morning's first whisper of light. Dreams spiral downward like autumn leaves, each one carrying whispered hopes to sleeping souls scattered across the world. Luna extends her hands above the dreaming desk, feeling the stories flow through her fingers like warm silk against fingertips, each tale seeking its destined dreamer. "Rest now, dear stories," she murmurs, her voice blending with the soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony. "Find your way to those who need you most tonight." Golden threads of narrative unspools from her palms, weaving through the library's crystalline air. A story about forgotten courage drifts toward a child afraid of tomorrow's test. Another tale, shimmering with gentle healing, floats towards someone grieving in distant city shadows. The honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment grows sweeter as completed dreams prepare for their journey. Luna watches a particularly beautiful story, one about finding home in unexpected places, wrap itself in starlight before dissolving through the library's ancient walls. Books around her hum with satisfaction, their leather bindings warm beneath her touch. Some stories require multiple dreams to reach their destination, fractaling into smaller whispers that will visit the same sleeper across many nights. Others burst forth complete, ready to transform a single moment of rest into revelation. Time stutters when Luna blinks, and suddenly she sees the invisible threads connecting every book to every dreamer, a vast web of silk and light stretching beyond the library's infinite shelves. The scratching of quills grows softer, more synchronized, as if the very act of writing has become a lullaby. She guides a dream about grandmother's kitchen towards someone missing home, another about peaceful forests toward a mind too busy to rest. Each story carries the scent of its origin. Some smell of summer rain, others of warm bread, all tinged with the library's eternal perfume. The night's work draws toward completion, and Luna feels herself becoming part of the eternal rhythm. Tomorrow night will bring new dreams, new stories, new souls seeking comfort in sleep's embrace. Books begin their gentle descent, floating back to their shelves like soft golden light begins filtering through the library's impossible windows as Luna feels the night's work drawing to its gentle close. The books around her sense the approaching dawn, their pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips, growing quieter with each passing moment. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony gradually slows to a whisper, like a lullaby finding its final notes. Your stories are complete, Luna murmurs to a collection of dream-filled volumes floating near the dreaming desk. The air carries the familiar scent of honeyed ink, mingled with aged vanilla parchment, now touched with something new, the fresh coolness of morning dew on distant grass. One by one, the books begin to settle onto their shelves with satisfied sighs. A crimson journal about forgotten summers drifts past Luna's shoulder, its binding warm against her cheek as it brushes by. She watches as a collection of childhood lullabies folds its pages with the tenderness of a mother tucking in her child. The massive dictionary that had been fractaling dreams all night slowly closes its covers, the watercolor visions inside settling into peaceful stillness. Luna touches its spine one last time, feeling the gentle pulse of 1,000 stories, finding their homes in sleeping minds across the world. Time stutters when she blinks, and for a moment, the library exists in two states at once. The magical writing sanctuary of night and the quiet reading room of dawn. In that suspended heartbeat, Luna sees the eternal cycle, stories born in darkness, delivered to dreamers, awakening with the light only to begin again. The grandfather clock in the distance chimes an hour that exists between night and day, its brass voice echoing through the slowly brightening halls. Luna knows her time here is drawing to a close, but she feels no sadness, only the deep satisfaction of work well done. She rises from the cloud-soft chair, her bare feet finding the velvet floor one last time. Around her, the remaining books settle into their dawn slumber, their covers gleaming like jewels in the growing light. Rest well, dear friends, she whispers to the library itself, knowing that tomorrow night will bring new dreams, new stories, new magic to tend. The walls seem to shimmer in response, as if the very architecture of this impossible place is saying goodbye. The first rays of true sunlight touch the library's spires, and Luna feels herself beginning to fade with the approaching. Every ending is just a new dream beginning somewhere else, Luna whispers as she watches the final stories of the night prepare for their journey. The books around her glow softer now, their golden light dimming like candles in a gentle breeze. Pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips flutter one last time as each volume completes its nocturnal work. The soft scratching of invisible quills, writing in harmony, grows quieter, transitioning from urgent creation to peaceful completion. Honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment sweetens the air with the promise of satisfied dreams finding their homes. She traces her finger along a particularly radiant spine, feeling the story's contentment pulse beneath the silk-like surface. You've written something beautiful tonight, she murmurs to the book, which responds with a gentle warmth that spreads up her arm like liquid sunlight. Above her, the floating volumes begin their slow descent toward their shelves, each one carrying dreams of starlit forests, childhood laughter, and quiet moments of joy. Their movement creates the softest whisper of air, like sighs of satisfaction after meaningful work. The library's vast dome overhead starts to lighten almost imperceptibly, not with dawn's harsh arrival, but with the gentle transition that comes when night's deepest magic draws to its natural close. Luna feels herself becoming part of this eternal rhythm, understanding that her role continues beyond this single evening. Time stutters when she blinks, and for a moment she sees all the nights that came before and all those yet to come. An endless cycle of stories being born, dreams being shared, and souls finding rest through the library's gentle ministry. The grandfather clock in the distance begins to chime, its deep notes echoing through the transforming space with ancient golden radiance seeps through the library's ancient walls like honey through cheesecloth. Luna watches as the towering shelves begin to shimmer and soften, their edges blurring into watercolor dreams. The books sense the approaching dawn, their pages rustling with gentle satisfaction. "Your work is beautiful," Luna whispers to a collection of poetry that glows near her elbow. The volume's spine feels like warm silk against fingertips as she traces its golden lettering. Around her, the soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony grows quieter, more distant, like a lullaby fading at the edge of sleep. The honeyed ink, mingled with aged vanilla parchment, grows sweeter now, tinged with the promise of morning tea and fresh beginnings. Luna breathes deeply, letting the scent fill her lungs as the library's magic begins its gentle retreat. One by one, the floating books settle onto their shelves with sighs of completion. Stories have found their homes. Dreams have been carefully packaged and sent to waiting minds across the sleeping world. The grandfather clock in the distance chimes an hour that exists only in this place, between night and day. "Until tomorrow," Luna murmurs, her voice echoing softly through the dissolving corridors. The walls grow more transparent with each passing moment, revealing glimpses of starlight beyond. She can feel herself becoming part of the fading light, her essence merging with the eternal rhythm of stories and dreams. The library's magic doesn't disappear, it transforms, flowing like liquid gold into the hearts of those who need it most. Luna smiles as she feels herself dissolving too, becoming one with the endless cycle of nights and dreams and gentle stories that heal the world. Time stutters when she blinks, and in that moment of suspended breath, she sees the truth clearly. The library never truly fades. It simply waits, patient as starlight, for the next sleeper to find their way to its infinite shelves. And somewhere in the growing dawn, a new story begins to write itself, ready for tomorrow's dreams. The golden light grows brighter, warmer, and Luna lets herself drift into its embrace, knowing that every ending is just another beginning in disguise. The library's whispered promise follows her into the brightening day. Sweet dreams will always find their way home. Luna becomes weightless as thought itself, drifting through. Something extraordinary happens as Luna becomes part of the library's eternal rhythm. Her thoughts transform into golden streams that flow directly into the waiting books, each idea becoming a dream for someone far away. Pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips welcome her consciousness, absorbing her gentlest memories and softest wishes. Around her, the soft scratching of invisible quills, writing in harmony, grows more melodious, as if celebrating her integration into their timeless work. The sound wraps around her like a lullaby, composed of 1,000 bedtime stories, each note carrying someone toward peaceful sleep. She breathes deeply, and honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment fills her lungs with sweetness. This scent has become part of her now. She is both librarian and library, both dreamer and dream keeper. I understand now, Luna whispers, her voice dissolving into the amber light that surrounds the dreaming desk. Every story I've tended, every dream I've guided, they were preparing me for this moment. Her form begins to shimmer like starlight reflected in still water. The boundaries between Luna and the library blur until she exists everywhere at once, in every floating book, every turning page, every word that writes itself in the endless night. Time stutters when she blinks, but now she controls the rhythm. Each flutter of her ethereal eyelashes sends fresh dreams spiraling towards sleeping souls across the world. The grandfather clock in the distance chimes midnight eternal, and Luna smiles as she feels her new purpose settling around her like the softest blanket. She will ensure that sweet dreams flow always, that no sleeper goes without comfort, that stories continue to write themselves in the space between heartbeats. Her last individual thought becomes her first eternal promise. Tomorrow night, new stories will bloom in the endless beginning. Within this sacred moment, Luna dissolves into pure storylight, her essence becoming one with every tale ever written or yet to be born. Pages that feel like warm silk against fingertips flutter around her like golden butterflies, each one carrying a dream to distant sleepers who need exactly what she offers. The soft scratching of invisible quills writing in harmony crescendos into a gentle symphony of completion. 10,000 stories finding their perfect endings all at once. Honeyed ink mingled with aged vanilla parchment swirls through the dissolving air like incense, blessing this transition between waking and sleeping worlds. Every story finds its dreamer, Luna whispers as her voice becomes the whisper of turning pages. Every dreamer finds their story. This is how it has always been, how it will always be. The library's walls melt into starlight streams that flow outward like rivers of liquid dreams, carrying tonight's collection of stories to every corner of the sleeping world. Children dream of brave adventures. Weary souls find peace in gentle lullabies, and restless minds discover the quiet they've been seeking. Luna's form becomes translucent, then transparent, then pure intention flowing through the cosmic network of dreams. She is no longer separate from the stories. She is the bridge between what was written and what will be remembered when morning comes. Time no longer stutters when she blinks, because time itself has become as fluid as the stories she tends. Past, present, and future merge into one eternal moment of perfect storytelling, where every ending births a new beginning somewhere else in the dreaming universe. As the final traces of the library fade into golden mist, Luna's last gift unfolds, the promise that tomorrow night, when darkness falls and eyes grow heavy, the doors will dissolve once more, and new stories will write themselves for those who need them most. Sleep takes your hand through Luna's gentle guidance. Everything else fades to perfect peace.